All right, so I had the privilege recently of being able to help out the Atlanta Journal-Constitution as they put together their 40th Super 11, 40 years of Super 11. I think it's the 41st list of Super 11 players. 4 Georgia Bulldogs making the cut this year, Jeff.
I mean, it's a good group. Every year, we did the gamut. We did some research, Cody, and normally a high year is about 5 or 6 out of the 11. This year, they got 4. It's a weird year. No quarterbacks. Not as much, down south Georgia boys as in years past. Some years you get like Elias Williams at Camden County. Right. You get, all the talents at Lee County, Valdosta. This year it was kind of more metro-based. We had some Jonesboro action right here, but there are 4 dogs in the class, and they're 4 very, very good ones.
Yeah, so I had, I'm usually in the control room for Before the Hedges presented by Kroger, and I'm over the last year have heard a lot about Craig Dandridge. I've heard a lot about Khamari Brooks. Those two, we brought you their commitment ceremonies live on the air, as we did for Ty Boogie and Kaiden Prothro, and they are all on this year's AJC Super 11 list. So I got to go around and I did the interviews for the AJC's video and shot the video of all these guys doing a little practice on the field. And it was very cool to meet these guys and in some cases their families and spend a little time with just these faces I had seen on video and get to know them a little bit better.
Cody, which one of these guys passes the eyeball test for you? Is there one that's just like, okay, that's a dude?
I will tell you that, obviously meeting Kaiden Prothro, and he stands up so tall in person, and Khamari Brooks swallows your hand when you try to shake his hand. But Craig Dandridge, who I've seen on your video, was much bigger in person than I expected. So he actually stood out for me a little bit. We had seen this video from some of these Corky Kell 7-on-7s. Jeff, I know you were out at practice a little bit, so we'd seen all this video of him. And then I got to see him in person, and I'm shooting this video as he jumps right in front of me. And we also did a thing here where he was kind of exploding in and out of these cuts, and he runs past me, and I realize, I would never have a prayer of stopping a guy like this. He is super explosive, and Coach wanted to show off his height and the way he can jump. Another thing I really liked about Craig Dandridge, the receiver out of Cambridge, I asked him, I said, hey man, when you think about Georgia receivers, who do you think of? Listen to his answer.
When you think about Georgia receivers, who do you think about?
Pickens, Terrence Edwards, and Reggie Brown. Reggie Brown was actually my old receiver coach. So just being able to talk to them about the legacy that they had at Georgia, how they developed the receiver position, how they develop players in general, man, it's incredible.
As an old guy, that's the list I would give. Pickens, because he's a recent, but then Terrence Edwards and Reggie Brown, that's the answer I wanted to hear from Craig Dandridge, and he gave it.
Cody, the word is smooth, like Carlos Santana smooth, and you were talking about his cuts. The way he's able to get in and out of his breaks without losing speed and losing acceleration and maintain his top gear right there, that's what sets him apart. And he had a monster junior year, 1,400 yards, 15 touchdowns, big spots in big games. And a lot of people wonder, what does it take to be a Super 11? Well, there's an unofficial formula. Number one is you got to make plays. That means you got to be an all-state type guy, an all-region type guy, maybe a region player of the year. And then you got to have the college offers, the interest that goes along with it. Now, that's not the exact formula. There's lots of ways to become a Super 11, but that's a pretty good way to do it. If you put up stats, you're all-state, and you got offers from everybody in the country, I think you're almost there on the Super 11-ometer.
I asked him a little bit as well. I'd heard from you that he had took care of business in the classroom, got that Stanford offer, but he said at the end of the day it was Georgia. So I asked him the question, why Georgia?
What Coach Smart is building over there and what he has done in the past, I feel like that's a program that I can really trust, and I can see myself going wherever I want to go, whether that be in the business world or whether that be on the football field. Oh man, Coach Coley, I say he's probably the smartest receiver coach I've ever been around. I mean, the way he breaks down the defenses to the receivers in the meetings, it's he's basically giving you free game on how to win the route. And the stuff he's built with Zachariah Banks, Kobe Young, CJ Wiley's up there now, Ethan Barbour playing a little bit of tight end and receiver. I feel like they got a really good shot at, making a deep run in the playoffs and go for another natty.
The knowledge is there and the appreciation for what's going on, not only with the receiver answer, but with what Kirby has built there and James Coley. It seems like he he has a great perspective on things.
I think smooth also applies to how he handles himself in front of a camera and with a reporter's question. He was outstanding in every interview setting I've ever had with him.
All right, the other thing I did with all these guys, and we'll go through all of them, I asked them kind of an off-the-wall question. Who are you away from football? This may be the most interesting answer we got on the whole trail.
I'm really just a hardworking, disciplined kid that, stays out the way, likes to focus on my craft, focus on what I got going on, and everything else will come second. I'm really out the way. I really actually like reading books sometimes, Harry Potter series. Really also Diary of a Kid was one of my favorite books growing up. So just being able to do stuff like that. Also picking up golf a little bit, a little bit of golf. Not really great yet, but I'll be there.
You're a Gryffindor, are we a Hufflepuff, what a Slytherin, what house are we?
Man, I wanted to be Gryffindor. I actually took the test with my sister when I was 8 years old and I got Hufflepuff. I have to revisit it, but not my proudest moment, but I own it for now.
I don't want to pat myself on the back. I'm Grady School of Journalism. I'm asking the tough questions out there.
I mean, what is that? Slytherin would have to be Florida, right? Is that the equivalent?
Yeah, just a bad.
What's Hufflepuff? Is that like innocent little?
I think that's what it is. It's just not. It's not a mean dude, and it's not. He's not a front runner. He hadn't had the offer since 8th grade. He's gone through some adversity there, so he says he's not super proud of it, but he is a Hufflepuff at the end of the day. So
man,
that was Craig Dandridge.
Get him in whatever Harry Potter's wizardry he went to. Put him in that one, man, because he's Gryffindor, right?
And he gave me Chris Conley vibes because Conley was such a Star Wars nerd.
Yeah.
Maybe we can have a Harry Potter nerd, and maybe I'll have a great career at Georgia as well. All right, then I went to Buford. University of Buford, got to see the incredible $62 million stadium over there and the facilities they've got. But Tyriq Green, Ty Boogie is the man they call him. And another commitment ceremony we carried live. But the first question you got to ask Ty Boogie, what's up with the nickname?
I got my nickname Ty Boogie from my dad from when I first started playing football. He said because I started off playing quarterback, so when I just run the ball all the time, so he got the boogie thing because he was when I'm running the ball, it's I'm on a dance floor. So he just put because they always call me Ty, so he just added the boogie, so it's Ty Boogie. Yeah, I've been running with it since I was 6, since I started playing football. So that's what a lot of people know me as, by Ty Boogie.
So Ty Boogie,
that.
He plays both sides of the ball, which is really, and 3 sides of the ball, special teams as well. But he's a guy who can get it done. What was he? 5 interceptions last year, 8 rushing touchdowns. He's a big, thick dude, one of many people we could have chosen at Buford, but really impressive prospect between the lines.
Would you endorse this, Cody? Let's say he makes a play at Georgia, pick 6, puts it in the end zone. Does Boogie Shoes playing over the PA, does that work for
put on
my Boogie Shoes?
Boogie Wonderland, right? You can do a lot with that. I love it.
When kind of researching him, he's been at Buford for a couple years now. KJ Bowdon was in his ear a little bit, barking about the dogs. This guy actually was at Kell High School when he started out his career in high school. But the things you heard from other coaches in the region, other coaches in the state, they worry about him at running back. They worry about him in the return game. They worry about him as a defender. I mean, Cody, he had a 107-yard interception return. Nobody does that. Nobody does that in high school football. He's just, wait for it, a football player, and Kirby Smart does a good job with those guys in his program.
All right, you can be a serious football player, but again, that's not going to stop me from asking the crazy questions.
Close to home, my family be able to come to all the home games, and then just their history of putting defensive guys. Growing up, I always been like insects and animals and stuff. So I think I'll probably look into stuff like that.
So what is that? When you were little, what does that mean? Does that mean you're bringing stuff in the house? Oh, keep going. Let's go roly-poly bite.
Growing up, I always been like insects and animals and stuff. So I think I'll probably look into stuff like that.
So what is that? When you were little, what does that mean? Does that mean you're bringing stuff in the house? Does that mean you're going outside with a magnifying glass? What does that look like?
Yeah, I used to bring little bugs that they call roly-polies.
Mm-hmm.
I used to bring those, I used to put them in my pockets and bring them in the house. And so every time I used to come in the house, my mom used to tell me empty my pockets out.
Where did that go? How did it start? You mean just the natural interest?
I don't know. Me and my cousin, my younger cousin, me and her, we used to like always pick up bugs like worms and stuff like that.
Never grossed you out? I mean, some people can't. Like anything that crawls X amount, no?
Nah.
So there you go, right? Roly-polies, pockets full of roly-polies. So like so many stories you get on Before the Hedges is what I love, right? We see these guys on Saturdays eventually, and he won't be the dentist or the Chick-fil-A guy. He'll be the roly-poly man.
First of all, correct me if I'm wrong. I want to expand our mutual Grady knowledge here. Hawks eat worms, correct? Don't hawks eat worm?
Hawks eat worm, yeah.
So he is a ball hawk. So it's very, very, very interesting that ball hawk Ty Boogie Green was very interested in snatching worms and roly-polies when he was a kid because he grew up to be a ball hawk.
All right, so I did ask him a Georgia question as well. Don't worry.
Close to home, my family be able to come to all the home games, and then like just like their history of putting like defensive guys in the league and like their development of like putting safeties, corners, or whatever they need in the league. So like that played like a big role, and then like my relationship with Coach T-Rob and Coach Kirby and all them up there. Every time somebody see me, they'll be like, "Go Dogs."
Yeah, so he's seen the fan base kind of rally around him. So plays both sides, going to be more of a defender at the next level.
Yeah, he is, and Georgia's got oodles and oodles of safety. That's like Kirby Smart's pockets on the recruiting trail. He's going to pull out like 4 All-American safeties in this recruiting class, and I think Buford University, they're definitely in double digits right now with Super 11 players, and folks, Ty Boogie is a good one.
All right, so moving on. Ty Boogie, the same time he committed was the same day Kaiden Prothro committed over in Bowdon, Georgia. Kaiden Prothro, like I said, you walk in and you see him in person, and he's giant. Also got to talk to his dad a little bit. I'd also seen him 3 state titles at the Georgia Dome, or at the Georgia Dome. How old am I? Mercedes-Benz Stadium over the years, and got to talk to him a little bit. And the first thing I wanted to ask about, we talked about the commitment ceremony we watched live here, and the coolest part was after the commitment ceremony, Kaylee accidentally just kind of left the camera up and rolling, and we had about 45 minutes where he was standing there taking photos with every single person in Bowdon who wanted a photo. So I'm like, dude, what's up with this magic moment?
Really just making sure everybody feels loved, because, you know, I wouldn't be here without them, you know, them just caring for our football team and how much they put into this program, and how much we put into Bowdon, and just really them coming out there to show that they support me. It means a lot to me, because I know they have my back, and no matter what I do, they'll be there for me. I went to preschool here, so my dad went to high school here. So I've been around football, you know, he coached here, and I've been around some great coaches and some great football players around the years, and I feel like that's just helped me build me up to who I am. And just the time I've been here has really been great, just being around the players and just looking up to them my whole life, because when I was a kid, I knew I looked up to be a Bowdon Red Devil and play high school football, and now it's just I'm the high school player, and I know kids are looking up to me.
He is that great classic football story where he was those little kids running around with jerseys playing football on the sidelines and in the end zones, and then all of a sudden he's admiring those Bowdon Red Devils that are older, and all of a sudden he becomes one, and he ain't forgot where he's come from. I was really, really impressed with Kaiden Prothro.
Look at that. Looks like a shampoo commercial. Look at the locks.
He's
bobbing up and down.
Head and shoulders call.
Cody, I got to give you some flowers here, man. I was going to wait until the end of this segment, but it already needs to be said. The prettiest video so far in Before the Hedges history. We've already hit the quota right there. The camera, the skill, like what you got doing with these guys. It is fun to watch. We've never had as much great video on an episode of Hedges as we've already got today. We've got another profile to do as well, but I got one nugget here on Kaiden Prothro. You asked Kaiden Prothro, his dad was a baseball player, played at Jacksonville State in Alabama, right? When he was growing up, he wanted to play for Georgia. Plot twist. He wanted to be a catcher on the baseball team. Close enough. He's a dog. Now he's a catcher on the football team. So look at those locks. He's a 3-time state champion. It's one Georgia absolutely had to win. Now, wait for it. Sideline it for a little bit. Story to be resolved later. Will he be a tight end, or will he be a wide receiver at Georgia? Stay tuned.
Yeah, that's the big question. He has a big, long, tall target, but what will he be? And that was a question I asked him, because he does play both at Bowdon. He plays safety at Bowdon as well. But I asked him, tight end versus wide receiver, what do you consider yourself?
I'd probably say it's kind of like a combination of the both, receiving tight end that catches the ball and then can block. Really just because most tight ends are big, they can't really move. I'd say I'm like the more receiving type tight end that can split out wide and do what more of a receiver can in the standpoint of that, and also go in and block some.
So you got to me, I start thinking like Elias Williams a year ahead of him and him. You got the twin tower. I mean, you got to have these two guys on the outside. If you run up in 12 personnel, how about these two tight ends in the red zone?
I think Dog fans, they need to watch Noah Thomas this year. Same kind of frame, same kind of burn, real fast. And that might be a good Xerox there for Kaiden Prothro, because Kaiden went to the Under Armour All-American camp back in January. And for that bowl game, for the first time, they allowed juniors because it's really hard to get seniors in that game. He works out at receiver all week. No tight end, works out receiver all week. A couple of those days, he was named a top performer in the MVP of the entire day of practice, strictly playing receiver. So let's put that in the back of our heads and think about that when he gets to Georgia. I mean, really, to me, Cody, if he's 255 and 250 on that 6'6" frame, then he'll be a tight end. But if his weight stays around 220, 230, he's probably 218, 220 right now. If he doesn't get too heavy, then he'll be a receiver. He puts on a lot of groceries. He eats a lot of that Kroger Boost groceries, and then he'll likely play tight end with his hand in the dirt.
Yeah, and Georgia will find ways to get him the football, no doubt about that. All right, my last one, we got a red and black tight end right there in Kaiden Prothro, but also on the AJC Super 11 list this year is Khamari Brooks, who is a tight end. We know him better as an outside linebacker at North Oconee High School. I got to visit with him a little bit. He's another guy really impressive when you meet him in person, because I'd actually called a North Oconee game from the press box last year, and you just don't get the size. You can't really figure out how huge these guys are. But I got to see him. And, one thing I've gathered from the stories you've done on Khamari Brooks so far is, you really get how close Bogart, Georgia is to Athens, Georgia. His mom went to Clark Central, so they got really close Athens connections right there. And so you talked about he gets over there a lot. So I asked him about going to UGA and how often he actually gets to do that.
I go down there a lot, to be honest. I've been there. I was there for I think 20 practices, so I showed up a lot, kind of to be able to see what they have going on, their day-to-day process. I went to class with CJ Allen one time, so I feel like I went through the process of kind of what they do in a day, but obviously that's going to be hard. Coming from high school to college, it's a different game down there. So I feel like just giving my mental to where I just know what I have to do and ask the older guys that have been through what I already have to go through, just keep working at that, so I'll be all right when I get there.
So I feel like the new guys, sometimes they got to learn the drills and they got to learn. He knows it all by now, right? 20 practices.
I think people get worked up when they hear that KJ Bowdon took 15 to 18 visits. Well, I tell you what, KJ did not see 20 practices like Khamari did. He told me once he has it figured out, the amount of stoplights, how long it should take for him to get from his front door to Buttsmere to the House of Pain. And that was the guy. Georgia said, we need one edge. We took so many in the last class, Chase Linton, Isaiah Gibson, and so forth. And they were like, that's our guy. They centered on him, the one edge they wanted, and Uzo Duribe reeled him in.
You see that North Oconee T that on the jersey right there in the middle, and it kind of, for now, it also makes me think of another thing. It's that hat that David Pollock wears all over the place is North Oconee. David Pollock, of course, on the coaching staff at North Oconee, has known Khamari Brooks for a very long time. I wanted to get more details on that relationship.
I mean, I've known him since I think the second grade, maybe third grade. So he's known me for a very long time. But obviously, he gives me different keys because he's seen it, he's been through it, he understands the game very much. But it's not as, he's my outside linebacker coach. He actually doesn't coach me as much as other people think. He's actually assistant D-line coach up here. People would think he's a head D-line coach, the actual outside linebacker coach. He's assistant D-line coach, but he might say assistant, but he also helps us out a lot when it comes to different things that he sees with hands or O-line, like how tight they are, how heavy they are in the hands. So he helps out a lot with those things. And on Friday nights, he gets very excited for us.
Yeah, is it more technique stuff or more mentally how to prepare stuff?
More technique stuff, I would say, with him. Like I said, pass rush stuff that he sees. Make sure you get in your hand placed in the right place, eyes in the right place. So I say with him, it's mostly like technique stuff that he likes to help us out with out here.
How great is that to have a mentor who has been there, done that, but it's not like, hey man, really work hard, stay at it. No, he's like actually inch by inch, here's where your hands need to be. See how that lineman's lining up. You can tell if he's pulling or not. All of those kind of details that he's getting from David Pollock's really impressive.
I think, first of all, love that shot. You've got the blocking dummy in the background. That's just his mentality. That's what he is. The B-roll here is great, but the Pollock story, this is where it gets good, Cody. David Pollock was coaching Little League football, right? And his team was playing another team. Khamari Brooks was the star on that team. And he was like, to use a very colorful language, he was like, how in the blue blazes is this guy reading all of our plays? He figured out their offense. He figured out where every play was going. Like, yeah, David had like armbands and everything for these 8, 9, 10-year-olds or whatever. And he comes over to him and he's like, talks to him about football. And he's like, I got to get him on my team. I got to get him playing for my Little League team. And soon enough, Khamari Brooks was playing with David Pollock. David Pollock used this word to describe him when I interviewed him about Khamari, I believe back at the Dog Bowl last year. He said, brilliant. That's the word he used to describe how intelligent of a football player Khamari Brooks is. And that's kind of bearing the lead because this guy was an all-state basketball player. He's won 2 basketball championships as a major force for the Titans. And he's also a member. He basically took over the entire state championship game against Marist last year in the bins on the football side of things. So guy's a winner. Guy's really smart. Guy is an ideal Georgia guy.
10 sacks last year. Also had 8 touchdowns as a tight end as well. Now, the other cool part about this, and I kind of mentioned, I got to meet so many families. Like Ty Boogie, his mom and his aunt were at the interview. So I got to talk to them a little bit about what it's been like. Kaiden Prothro's dad, I talked to a lot about what it's been like with Kaiden growing up and how he gets pushed and pulled in different ways. And then also Khamari Brooks' mom was there. Now, I know in the commitment ceremony, you guys came home with, what was it, a bag that she had created. And I asked Khamari about his relationship with his mom and all of this stuff that she is creating.
My mom, you go see her with a different shirt on every week, a different jersey every week, some custom item that she made at home. So I'll definitely say that's my biggest fan because she goes all out every game day. So we got to put on the best fit that she can.
Is it ever too much? Do you ever tell her, hey?
Nah, man, that's her passion. I let her do what she do. I love it. You get to see the jerseys that she makes. She posts them on Instagram, and a lot of people like to buy them from her because they see the amazing job that she does with that. It's like I'm on the sideline, not like during the game, but I'm on the sideline. She like yells my name. I know where they sit at, so I can definitely hear her voice. But she be yelling.
She one that's yelling a lot.
She yells the whole game. I've been hearing her voice since I don't know. Since I started playing sports, she's always the loudest one. She has a loud scream that people don't really like to hear when it comes to opposing teams. So definitely, I hear her voice a lot.
It was so funny talking, and his mom was like standing right there. Then we asked mom. I said, "Oh, are you like the?" She said, "Actually, it's grandma who is the loudest, and especially at basketball games, which you can imagine. Basketball, you're right on top of the court. So it said grandma was actually. So if you're in that corner of Sanford Stadium in the coming years, you will hear the Brooks cheering section, I'm sure."
Well, I tell you, man, like, first of all, she had a bag of chips. She had bottled waters. She had shirts. They had banners. I believe they had candy engraved or whatever. Like, mom, don't play. And that's an all A+ mom right there. And you know what? It's really cool to see that relationship up close. And, you know, Khamari's a pretty smart man. He's like, yeah, I'm going to let her do what she wants because that's my mom.
And I said, because of this tight relationship with your mom and your brother and your grandmother, is that the reason you're staying? He said, no, they let me make my own decision. He came to Georgia on his own. So that was his decision there. So I was looking at all those guys, and it was really a great group to get to know, those four dogs on the AJC Super 11.
4 really good ones. Let me ask you, who do you think out of those guys, who do you think has the best college career? If you had to put it in the time capsule, who do you think has the best career?
I feel like the offensive guys, it's tougher. Like you're a lot of factors. Like so, Kaiden and Craig Dandridge, how many balls will they get thrown? That's kind of the question. So I'll go with one of the defensive guys. I'll say Khamari. I'm excited about Khamari. I think he's a big dude. He can do it. Not to say Ty Boogie couldn't, but I do like. We'll see what Khamari Brooks. We'll be talking about him for years to come.
I think. That's my answer too, and it's not just because I've heard so many great things. And he's been at his best when his best was required in all these championship events. He just feels to me just like so much like a Georgia guy, and we've seen that script unfold over and over and over. Like, I mean, maybe Craig Dandridge is the best one to take to media days because he is a great, well-spoken kid. He cares, he gets it, and he's one of those players that's coming into Georgia that won't have to be de-recruited because he didn't have any offers a short time ago. He didn't have any offers in like 4 or 5 months ago. And now he went from that to where he is now.
Yeah, he had broken bones and like he told me like 7th, 8th, 9th grade, like year after year, he kept getting broken bones, and it's why he didn't burst onto the scene until his junior year. Excited to see all of those guys this year on the field. Some of those guys will be on the field in a matter of hours. Some of these guys in a matter of days as high school football is getting started here